Hi guys, I am back. Um, Thank you for tuning in again to my podcast, Heart Flow, the podcast where I, Shayla, talk about whatever comes to my heart, whatever is placed on my mind, my heart. I speak on those things, and I also speak on the topics or subjects that is brought to me by others who may want a voice to opinion on, perspective on different things, usually clinical things. I feel like I am a voice for those that aren't heard, um, specifically in the Black community. If they want a perspective or want to understand something a little bit more, I try to do that. If a topic is brought my way. If not, I really talk about my journey. And that kind of has been a few of the episodes this year, before this year, um, on my journey this far in the season of my life, right? That has been what I've been talking about. And I'm going to continue on that journey and kind of topic. But yes, that is my podcast. And I usually come from the perspective of a Black clinician, a Black female clinician, and also a Christian woman. A lot of my perspectives are rooted in my faith, so I'm not coming from the same thought process or perspective of society. I'm usually very much so against the grain when it comes to that. I don't usually share the same opinions as most. I'm very much against the grain. So that's that. That's where I come from. That's what my thought process usually is rooted in. But I wanted to talk about what we just had or at my job, at my internship. We went through, it's called valuations or whatever, which would be evaluations, like your 6-month review or whatever at other jobs. But the difference here is you are more life is kind of like spoken into you, and you get to see how others view you, how your peers see the way that you're processing, how they see your gifts, how they see you as a person and you as a clinician. It's pretty cool because there's different categories, and there's appreciation, there is relationship, observations, and then curiosities, right? This is my first time being a part of it, so it was very new to me and interesting to be a part of. Excuse me, because one, sitting and hearing feedback from people is not something that I'm used to. It hasn't really happened often. You get maybe a review from work or whatever, but it's totally not this. And this was like so rooted in like love and so it was very different, right? And so this was my first time sitting in and then also giving feedback, which was weird for me because I wasn't there long, so I didn't feel like I haven't been there long, so I don't feel like I had much room to speak on my colleagues or whatever. But excuse me. But it was interesting to be amongst them and hear the feedback from other people given to other colleagues or whatever. But I was sitting there, and when it came my time and to hear them, to hear their views on me and what they see in me, what they have seen so far, what they've gathered thus far, and what they like see in my progression and what they like hope to see. It was just very heartwarming, very heartwarming. And I really had to make myself sit and receive it. Not that I could like get up and go anywhere, but to be open to receive the positive feedback and praise that they gave me, right? It was very, very nice and sweet or whatever. And some of the things that they said was very shocking, um, because I do strive to be myself wherever I go, right? I strive to be authentic as much as possible wherever I am. I am not very much into code switching, not anymore, really. Um, I don't know if I've ever really been like a code switcher per se. Um, I may have not just presented myself fully, or just stayed very reserved, really. Um, but at some point last year and continuing on, I have decided to show up as authentic as I can. And that takes work, because that's being okay with who I am now, not who I am striving to be. So, um, I do my best to present myself authentically as possible. Um, so it's very like interesting to hear them say things, and then also say things that I'm not totally aware of. One of my colleagues, she said that. She was like, I don't know if you are fully aware of, um, fully aware of your potential. She didn't say potential though. Um, she was like, it's great to see, and it's going to be great to see that pulled out of you more, as you progress in your clinical experience or whatever. Um, to see me, well, she was specifically talking about how blunt I am, and how blunt how blunt I can be in with clients, and how that is a good thing or whatever, and being able to, um, like, not necessarily polish it up, but learn how to use it, properly in the clinical setting. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I was like, okay, yeah, and I chuckled when she said that or whatever, because I can be a very blunt person, right? I am not one. I am not a beat around the bush person. Like, if I have a question, I want to ask that question. If something is bothering me, I want to be able to express that. Like, I was, trying to converse with somebody or whatever, like just open conversation, and potentially like build a friendship with somebody. And I was telling my best friend, I was like, I don't know how to like baby step my way into asking questions. They weren't like intrusive questions. They were questions that would potentially need answers. Um, but I'm not good at, like, I guess it would be small talk. I'm not good at that. But then I'm also not good at, waiting to see where we are for me to answer, for me to ask a question. So if like we're talking about something and that part of the conversation like dies down or whatever, and I have a question that has nothing to do with what we just talked about, and it's maybe kind of random, I want to ask, because clearly I want to answer and I just want to know. So that's the type of person I am. I'm gonna want to ask you questions or whatever. um, and if something doesn't make sense to me, it doesn't make sense to me, and then I also would need to say that just doesn't make sense. Um, if I feel like, it's a place to do so or whatever. But so she mentioned that, and it made me chuckle, because I am very much so that person. Um, and what I also heard a lot, which was surprising, was how warm I am. Y'all, it makes me laugh because what? me, war, like, this is something that I don't see in myself, or something that I haven't recognized yet for myself, or haven't allowed myself to be or recognize or rest in, you know? So I kept hearing how nice and sweet and warm. I am very welcoming and open to people. I'm not mean. Um, so I was just like, oh wow, this is very interesting. And how like soft I am. It was the words that they were using, and I was just like, this makes me sit and think, because who is telling y'all this? Where are you guys getting this from? And it made me think of my best friend, one of my best friends, because she was like, because she, so the last episode, I don't know if it was the last episode or the one before, I don't remember. Um, I was talking about how she mentioned something that didn't sit right with me or whatever, and that I needed to follow up with her to really clarify what she meant, right? So I did that literally like the next day. The next day, because that's our relationship. The next day, right? I asked her what she meant about it, or what she meant around it, and she clarified, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then we started talking for real. And then but she was like, I have to remember sometimes that I can't say things as bluntly as they come to me when it comes to you. And isn't that ironic how blunt I am? But yet she feels like she can't be blunt, even though she can be blunt with me. It's just sometimes the way she says it, maybe the way she says things. Um, she's not rude either, which is very interesting that she said that. But anyway, so, but she was like, I have to remember that I can't say things how they come to me with you, because you're a baby. And I was like, I said, who, me? I said, me? I said, you think, no, she was like, because you're sensitive. And I was like, me? Shayla? Sensitive? And she was like, and they use that word too in the valuations, right? I think so. And I was like, sensitive? What? And she was like, yes. Yes, you are. And she compared me to her daughter, because if she says anything like, not harsh, but maybe like loud, or she is short, or it may seem like she's upset with her daughter will just have a breakdown, because why are you talking to me this way, right? And she was like, you are like her. You are a baby. And I was like, me? A baby? Listen, y'all, first off, I already know that I'm a baby, okay? I am a baby with certain people. If I feel like I'm in a safe space, I can be a baby, and that is literally who I am. And she was like, she said, yes, you are a baby. She was like, you are hard, and you have this hard exterior, or you're a thug because you have to be, not because that's who you are. And I was just like, why do you know me? I was like, you are my best friend and you know me. Oh my gosh, this is so crazy. I was like, this is so crazy of you, for you to just know how I am. And she was like, you are not a hard person or a thug, because you are. It's because you have to be, so you are. But you are a soft, sensitive baby. That's exactly who you are. She was like, when you get around certain people, you don't have that hard exterior. And I was like, that's actually very true. And it is. And because I was having this conversation with a male friend of mine, and he was saying how something about femininity and all this other type of crap, right? And I was like, women have to present themselves as masculine, or have a more masculine demeanor, or be more aggressive in certain settings, because women aren't listened to by men. And we have to be aggressive or masculine to get our point across, to make certain moves and decisions so we can be respected, and get business done. I said, but when I am around certain men, I am not that way. When it's just me and my son, I am absolutely harder, and I have a more aggressive demeanor, like out in public and stuff or whatever, because it's just him and I. So it's a safety thing, protection thing. It's just me and him, you know? Um, I said, but no. And I was talking on the phone when I was talking to my best friend, and she was like, yeah. She said, she was like, because when you're with your brother, I said, oh, forget about a masculine anything. I ask my brother will do. If it's in his means to do, he'll do it. Like, there is no hesitation on my part. When my brother was in Houston or whatever, when my brother was in Houston, if I was hungry and he was cooking, I'm eating. This is another reason why I have a problem with not cooking, y'all, because my brother cooked. And he's a good cook, okay? My brother cooked, I ate. That's the routine. He cooked, I eat. That was just it, okay? Um, that was that. But he was here when he was here. He would cook, I would eat, okay? If something needed to be done with my car, he took care of it. I may mention it one time, and he'd be like, "All right, Shay, I got it," and that's it. That would be it. My oil needs changed. My car needs to be washed. If gas needs to be put in my car for whatever reason I can't do it, he would do that. He would handle that. So what I gotta do? What I gotta do for? No, not if my brother. No way. No way. I am baby sister. Okay, I's baby. Brother handles. That's how that goes. And I'm beginning to really like see it and rest in the fact that that's who I am or whatever, and have been conditioned to be, and I am okay with that. Also, biblically, I am the weaker vessel, so let me be weak and rest in that. And I made an episode about that or commented on a different episode before, but that's where I want to rest. That's what I'm going to do. I wholeheartedly believe in that. But it was just interesting for my colleagues to see that or whatever in the small amount of time that we have been together. And it was nice to hear that as well. One of my colleagues that I thought this was hilarious because he was like, he was saying all these things that, like, on the appreciation part. And then he was like, you are very soft yet savage. And I hollered. And my colleague friend Jada, she was like, that's exactly who she is. And I laughed so hard because it's true. I have both sides. And it's so funny because it wasn't like a real savage with him, but he saw like that switch or the other side because we were in conversation, and he challenged my thinking on something, and it was in a playful manner, but he challenged my thinking on ministry versus counseling or whatever, and he posed the question of if I have a passion for counseling, or do I have an aversion? Is it aversion? Aversion to ministry. Y'all, for those of you who watch this podcast or listen and know my church upbringing, y'all, that question blew my mind. Literally, because I never thought of it like that. I never separated the two in that manner because I was telling him how I don't want to do ministry. It is not. What was I telling him? I told him I don't want to do ministry. because I feel like it's a heavy load or whatever. It's a heavy thing to carry, and I don't want to be responsible for that. Um, yeah, I don't want to be responsible for that. And I'm trying to see if I said this next part before or after he asked me that question. And then so he posed the question, I believe, and then I was like, "Sir," I said his name. I said, "Sir, don't therapize me." We both started cracking up, and it's so funny because as my supervisor, we was in like a meeting, and my supervisor, like, I guess saw our banter, like going back and forth with each other, and she actually mentioned that in the valuations or whatever, and we started laughing. Um, and yeah, so that was the savage that he saw. He ain't seen no real savage, but that's the savage part of me that he saw, that he witnessed or whatever, um, which made me laugh. But with that question though, I had to sit for a little bit, and I told him, I said, that's a very good question, and I'm not too sure. I said I would have to really think about that. I said, but I don't think it's or ministry or counseling. Um, I'm sure my counseling, it will be it will tie into each other at some point in some way. Um, but I told him, I said I was never given a chance to grow and learn in ministry, so that is probably the aversion I have towards it, because there is no making mistakes. There wasn't any making mistakes when I was growing up in the church and in the church culture that I grew up in. I couldn't make a mistake. There was no learning. I was thrown into, and I think I told him this, I was thrown into positions. I was thrown into leadership positions without knowing anything. And then if there was a mistake, it was a hard, you messed up, and hard consequence or lecture or whatever the case may be. So no, I don't want ministry. I do not want ministry. I am There's a piece of me that is afraid of it, because it is, regardless of my experience, to me it is a huge responsibility to, um, because they're sheep, those are God's people. I don't want to, right? Like, that's your soul, like, for real, for real. So it just, the Lord would have to really, really work on me. um but then also, it plays into the fact that I was never able to learn, right? I was just thrown in. So right now I'm just like, no, I don't want it. I will do without. I don't want it. Um and on the opposite side of that, I can learn and ask questions, still, in this field of counseling, right? I'm still an intern, so I can ask the questions. I can still learn, and there is no, like, hot water. There's no shame. Really, that's really what it was. There's no shame here. There's no, well, you should know that, even though that's what that imposter syndrome, okay? I feel that way sometimes. Like, girl, you should already know that. And girl, don't be asking no questions like that or whatever. And that's what I have to deal with personally. But that's not the environment, right? The environment is very warm, very welcoming. They'll answer questions. And my supervisor is very much like, I will give you the information you need. Just ask me. Whatever you need help with, I am here. Whatever questions you have, ask. Because there's no way for you to know if you don't ask, right? So they have all been so willing and open to help and to offer, knowledge, information. My supervisor literally just pours out information, and she gives out so much information. in our meetings, and they're called didactics, but in our learning sessions, pretty much. Um, and then outside of that, she pays for trainings. She pays for different things that we may see that is important to us, that we may want to dive into more. Like, she offers so much that you literally, I don't know where else you would get this from. That's why I'm very thankful that I'm in this program. Um, so I feel safe to learn and to ask questions and to fall and to make mistakes or whatever. I feel like I can do that here in this space, but in ministry, absolutely not. I probably can um, in a different house, under a different leadership, and I may be able to learn and go through the steps like at my current church. Okay, all of these things at my current church. If you do want to go into a if you do want to go into a ministry, so on the prayer team, because I did join for a little bit, the prayer team, there were steps, right? They didn't just throw you out there, you figure it out, whatever, which I appreciated. There were steps. You could ask questions. Yeah, there were steps you would take. You could ask questions. They weren't like shaming you for not knowing anything or shaming you for asking the questions that you may have had. So if I would join that again, I would feel okay enough to do that with them. I wasn't going to say comfortable because that's still outside of my comfort zone. So comfortable wasn't the word. But I will feel okay enough to join because there are steps and I know I'm not just being thrown out to the wolves, um, like I was previously. But going back, because I went on a tangent there, kind of went right. Um, but yeah, so he noticed that, like the soft and the savage side of me or whatever, and um, they just noticed these sides of me and the potential of me and the growth of me and all of these things, and it was great to hear that type of feedback that you don't really get to hear. You may hear it in a side conversation with you and somebody, and they may mention it or whatever. But to hear your group of people that you're working with and learning with see those things in you, it was very inspiring and motivational and heartwarming. And it just let me know that I am in the right place and I'm on the right track. Um, yeah, so I really do appreciate the Lord for getting me to this place and getting me to this group of individuals, and being in this program. Because like I said, this program is not like any other program that I have seen, that I've heard about, or anything like that. So I'm not going nowhere. I am not going anywhere. This is where I'm going to be. And my supervisor alone has helped me so much, like in my personal life. So I know I'm where I should be, where I'm supposed to be, where the Lord has guided me to be. And I'm very thankful for that. You know what I'm saying? So, yay. I just wanted to share that. Because it's good to hear those things. And one of my best friends is really good at telling me like what she sees in me, and how much she appreciates me. She gives those words. I'm not the greatest. I'm not the greatest at giving that verbally, but I show up. I show up and I do in other ways. I'm trying to work on it though. Verbally express those things to people. Some people, certain people. But I'm trying to do better at it. I'm trying to do better at it. Let me see if there was something else that I wanted to mention. It may not have been. That may actually be it because it wasn't too much, you know. Um, let's see. I don't know. I don't really want to talk about that. I think that's it for now. Yeah, that's it. That's all. That's all that I have this week. Um, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can message me on Facebook and Instagram. It sounds like it's raining, but I don't think it is. You can message me on Facebook and Instagram at My Heart Speaks LLC. You can drop in a question, or if you have a topic that you want me to discuss, if you whether that's like a societal topic or a clinical topic, let me know. We can discuss those things. I can discuss those things or give my perspective on them. Um, Watch me think of something when I cut this off to talk about. But anyway, that is it. That's all. Okay, guys. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. It's Thursday. I know this may get uploaded on Friday. Um, but I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Be safe. Enjoy yourself. Have a rest day. All of the things. Oh, y'all. I am so proud of me in my workout journey. Okay? I just want to put that out there real quick. So proud of me and my workout journey. I am not focused on weight loss. Like, that's not my focus because I feel like we can get so stuck on the pounds and the numbers. But what I am focused on is body recompensation, right? So I've been lifting. I do some cardio, but I've been lifting or whatever, and really trying to get my muscles where they need to be, because like after a lifting workout or strength training workout, your muscles continue to burn fat longer than just cardio do, right? So that has been my focus because ain't nobody just working out all the time. Even though I do 3 to 4 days a week, but I'm proud because this is week 11, I believe it is, and baby, slimming down is the thing. You know what I'm saying? I am on the slim trim train. I'm really getting at it. It's really working for me. I have discovered that I don't like cardio. I do not be looking forward to running or whatever, but I know if I go and I walk, I'm gonna be annoyed that I'm walking, so I end up running. Um, and I try to just do that to get out the way so I can just go ahead and go lift. But yes, it is working for me. Okay, I still have my goals to reach and a little more ways to go or whatever. I'm not even sweating it because the in between time, the progress that I'm making, proud. Okay, proud of me. You hear me? Um, yeah. I'm just shouting me out, really and truly, shouting me out. If you are thinking about body recomp or getting back in the gym or really taking your health more seriously, just take the first step. Whatever that first step is, don't look at the whole goal in one, okay? Break that thing down into smaller steps so you are able to achieve those smaller steps, okay? So you are able, or so they are more palatable for you, because we focus so much on the bigger and the grander goal, and that can be very discouraging because you're like, how do I even achieve that? How do I even get there? Break that thing down, okay? Implement small things to get you there, Implement the smaller things that you can achieve and then just add to that. It doesn't have to be the big, big, big goal right off the bat. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I did. I just went back to the gym, did some cardio. I said, okay, I know I need to also lift. Let me hop on one of these machines. Is this the machine that I want to do? Well, granted, my gym at the apartment is about that big, okay? But I figured it out. This is a lat machine. All right, these are pull downs. Cool. I did some pull downs. You know what I'm saying? Did some pull downs. Tried out the weight to see what the weight was like, if I could handle it or not. I progressed from there. You know what I'm saying? Um, Find a group where you can ask questions, or find someone you can ask questions to, with, whatever, and just get moving. That's really it. Just get moving. Just get started. All right, I'm done. See you guys next week. I hope you guys, again,